Good Monday evening, high school sports fans. I'm Joe Gilloway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports, welcoming you to our girls' high school basketball mid-season show. And along with my guest panelist, Mr. Bob Bonner, and PennLive senior staff writer, Mr. Eric Epler, we'll discuss the first 6 weeks of girls' high school basketball here in South Central Pennsylvania and beyond. Let's thank our sponsors before we move forward. They are Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion, Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Tonino's Pizza, and Sam Hartley Decking. That's Coach Sam Hartley from Central Dolphin Softball. Thanks to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports in our area's student athletes. Upcoming, we have some shows here we want to talk about, or just mention at least. We have two different girls' high school basketball shows, interview shows. Just we have three guests on twice, and let's see. The first show will be this coming Wednesday, just 2 days, 2 nights from tonight, and we have Lila Karcher from Cedar Cliff, Samira Mamadou from Central Dolphin East, and Macy Yanoski from Mechanicsburg. Three of the top players in the area for sure. And man, we're just blessed to get these girls together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then 2 weeks from this show, which would be the 28th, Wednesday the 28th, we have Jayla Kozier from Middletown. And if you guys don't know Jayla, you got to watch the show. Awesome young lady. Led her team to a district championship game last year. And then Ava London from Susquehanna Township, one of the players with as much upside as just about anybody in the area. She is coming back this year after a knee injury, and just a great talent, tough player, and runs the point well, scores. And then, of course, Kayana Taylor. She's a sophomore for Central Dolphin, and just really is coming into her own this year. She's playing really great basketball. So we'll be talking about these players here in just a little bit. And then just to mention boys basketball, these are our upcoming opening guests. We start our Sunday night shows with a coach, usually a local coach. We have some outside of the Harrisburg area coaches here in the coming weeks. We have John Allen from Coatesville. Then we have Kerry Glover from York High, York William Penn, and Jason Fisher from Devon Prep. And then we rescheduled Rick Perez. He was supposed to be on the show last night. He ended up getting Eagles tickets. He maybe hopes he was on the show now, but anyway, probably not. So what a lineup of boys coaches we have upcoming here. So watch those shows. They're on Sunday nights at 6:00. The High School Hoops Recap Show, we call that. Let's see here. Thank you to PennLive. We use PennLive's photos sometimes, and not always, and sometimes they get mixed in with the other ones, and so it's not easy to just recognize PennLive and their staff photographers all the time. But we just want to thank them. Their staff photographers work hard. Then they have some independent contractor photographers. And if we borrow their photos, they're usually very, very good. And we really appreciate that. And then I also want to mention about 5 weeks ago, I want to talk about prostate cancer just briefly. I had my prostate removed, and this isn't about me at all. I just want to encourage men out there, and if you're a woman or a child that has a father or a husband or significant other, encourage them to get tested for prostate cancer. It's a very simple process. 1 in 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. It's a very simple test, a PSA test. It's a blood test that can identify that. And it's a very treatable cancer. When should men get screened? People at average risk, right around 50. High risk, age 45, it moves back 5 years, and then very high risk. We're talking about people with relatives that have had prostate cancer, probably cancer of any sort. And I want to mention this too, because I have a lot of friends in the area, in the sports realm, and watch our shows. African-American men are almost twice as likely to develop prostate cancer and almost 2.5 times more likely to die of it. It's recommended that they are initially tested between 5 to 10 years before white men. So between 40 and 45, African-American men make an appointment and get tested for get your PSAs. Okay. Thanks for sitting through that, guys. I think if there's anything I could do, it's just kind of throw that out there and
absolutely
kind of challenge men. It's a simple way to find out what's going on. So let's jump right into. Thank you guys, Eric Epler. Appreciate it always. Let's call you're a recurring panelist, Eric.
I would guess so. Yeah, I've been called worse.
Okay, all right. And then Bob, this is your second time with us, right?
Yep.
And then I have it written down. Full disclosure: Bob Bonner is the father of Northern York's McKenna Bonner.
Yeah,
who is one of the top girls' high school basketball players in the area. So I'll get that way. I think she is. So let's jump into the Mid-Penn Conference, the Commonwealth Division, and talk about where we were or where we are, and kind of here we go. Who's left as far as having an opportunity to win this division. I would go down and put the line underneath State College, just out of respect to Coach Ali Mock and her Lady Little Lions. I mean, there's a very good chance this is going to come down to Central Dauphin and Altoona. Okay, they play once again. Central Dauphin plays State College at State College, and that's an all bets are off trip for Central Dauphin every year. They lost up there last year, and CD ended up finishing top 8 in the state. So, and then I'm not sure about Altoona and State College. They probably meet one more time. Eric, have you gotten out to see many of these teams play this year?
Yeah, I've seen Central Dauphin. I've seen State College. I saw Altoona so far. I mean, those are obviously the three that you're talking about when we talk about the Commonwealth Division. State College is obviously running a little uphill now, the 2 games back in the division race, having lost to those teams. Central Dauphin just put it on pretty good the other night, 20-point win by CD. Yeah. For State College too, I just think it's that third option. You know what I mean? Where do you sort of find those 10, 12 points or those 10, 12 extra rebounds that they're sort of going to need to kind of pop in and maybe beat those teams in the second half?
Right
there, beyond Sienna Wilson, beyond McKenna Whitehurst, it's been that sort of like, struggle to kind of find that third consistent force for them. So it's going to be tough for them. But, I mean, coming in, basically, Joe, we were talking about CD and Altoona being 1-2 or 1-1.
Right.
This part. And I think it's played out. And I obviously think it's been very similar for every division. You came in with a certain front runner. Central Dauphin and Altoona were kind of the question marks.
I think 1-1A is a good description. Yeah.
Right. The Commonwealth was kind of the question mark. If you had to sit down and predict the division title winners,
right.
The other ones were a little bit easier to select, but it's still a 2-horse race in all 4 divisions right now. It should be at least an exciting stretch run. And that's really all you can ask for. I mean, Central Dauphin is a big picture program. I talk about this a lot during the football season. Winning division titles is great, but it's all about just making those small increment steps forward toward the postseason. When you get to District 3, or in State College's case, get to District 6, you're ready for that postseason play, because obviously it's win or go home at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see Central Dauphin East kind of taking some strides forward. Harrisburg kind of taking some strides forward. You and I have been close enough to this division that we remember, I don't know how many years ago, not many, when just about every team in that division was vying for the division title. Harrisburg East,
Harrisburg included.
Yeah, of course, Central Dauphin, of course, Cumberland Valley. If there was 8 teams, and like 5 or 6 of them would be vying for a title, and it just isn't that way now. For now,
No. For now, I mean, it's high school sports, it's cyclical. I mean, we were talking about a Cumberland Valley team franchise very, very differently, 8-10 years ago than we are now.
Right.
So it just happens. That's how it goes. And Harrisburg's trying to build it back up. Harrisburg's shown some really good tendencies so far. But again, when you're trying to fight that battle against these teams that are established, like CD, like Altoona, like State College, it's that much more difficult.
Yeah.
You've got to beat the non-conference teams. You've got to show up to these holiday tournaments, tip-off tournaments, ready to play and get those and grab those extra wins here and there, and get yourself to that, that 11, 12, 13 win mark that's going to put you in the postseason. And right now it's a difficult task for teams like East and teams like Harrisburg. But like you mentioned, they are making strides. So one good stretch run here, one good 2-week stretch, in the second half of this season, and they're right there.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I just don't want to call State College out. I mean, because they gave Altoona a really good game last
Yeah.
year in the District 6, and it is a year later, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say one of those three teams is probably going to end up, or is going to end up, in the Mid Penn championship game. And so let's go on to the Keystone Division. And what can we say about Coach Scott Wyant? I mean, I just right, Eric. I see you throwing your hand up over the people at home didn't see that. You just threw your hand up over your head.
Well, we talked about Scott a lot last year about him. You could arguably probably named him Coach of the Year just for
right.
Because I mean they lost a ton of talent. I mean, yes, Lila Kircher was back, and yes, there were a couple like Matty Cavalier, good shooter, strong defensive presence, but I mean they lost a lot. And sure enough, and then they were running out, and did they make the postseason, or they were damn near close?
They either just got in or just didn't.
Yeah. They were like close to 16. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just amazing, the kind of consistency that they keep winning under Scott, and that just proves him and his staff are doing tremendous things. But sometimes it's not the prettiest brand of football, or basketball at times. But, they get the job done. They play to their tempo. A lot of their games are, 34-30, that kind of situation.
Yep.
They produce a little bit more offense with their defense and more chances here and there. And you can win a lot of ball games that way.
He's just one heck of a coach. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
He has a good balance of girls. I mean, like he has like 5 girls, and Lila's their leader, but like he has Reese Hall and stuff, and they all can be leading scorers on any night. So I mean, they have a good balanced team. I'll be anxious. I think they play Mechanicsburg next week. I kind of circled that on my calendar as a game maybe we want to try and catch.
That's one of the top games in the area this year. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. Especially after Cedar Cliff beat them the first time around, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Did, right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
And a couple names that Bob was alluding to, like Paige Wenner. It's been one of the consistent players for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And, there's a new, Jillian McIntyre is another one just popped in, but there's also Terza Price is another one for them.
Yes.
It's been a pretty good addition. I know she's probably 7-8 points a game for them, which is great. Right. As a new sort of starter, 6-man. So there's a lot there to like for Cedar Cliff.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those two teams representing the Keystone in the Mid-Penn tournament. And let's go move on down to the Capital Division. Once again, a two-pony race here. And this is interesting. I watched the first game, the first Trinity Susquehanna Township game. And, I mean, it was what it was. It was a very close game, and I kind of didn't anticipate Trinity winning the game, and they did. They just played really good basketball, and they just beat them. It wasn't a fluke. They were the better team that night. Eric, let me ask you this: Do you power rankings watch? What I'm thinking here, I'm thinking both these teams will win outside of their matchup with one another. Yeah, which is coming up here soon. I think it's next week, or is it this Thursday?
They play Thursday night.
Yeah, this Thursday. So, yeah, I'm gonna. That's one to. There's another one. That's one of the other. That and then the next Altoona CD game. But anyway, I think if Susquehanna Township wins that game, man, I don't know if they can catch Trinity power rankings wise.
The Trinity's 3A. Hannah's 4.
No, I'm talking about to go into the Mid-Penn.
Right.
These teams, they want to be there. To me, it's just more of a. Man, I got to watch how I put this. It's more of an exhibition. Yeah. Let's look at that.
Yeah, I think Trinity would still be on the edge
because Trinity doesn't. They don't have too many more games where it looks like they may lose. Like,
okay,
I think this is the big game for them.
It's not even close.
They could be 21-0 if they could beat Susquehanna Township this time.
There's Susquehanna Township. Let's call they're at 0.70, basically 6.99. And then Trinity's.
Yeah, and Trinity's, and even if they would lose that game, Joe, their opponent's winning percentage would actually
absolutely
be elevated.
Yeah.
because of playing Susquehanna Township. So that's a bonus for them, because right now that difference is pretty significant in favor of Susquehanna Township. But actually, it's a bonus for Trinity to even play them.
Yes.
So even if they would lose that game and say finish the season 21-1, right?
They're gonna finish
their
ahead.
power ranking would still probably be another, at least.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd say maybe 3, even 4 percentage points would be up a little higher. That would have been my guess, using kind of the backdoor sort of, scale that you use to kind of predict these things. I mean, you'd have to do the math, obviously, but I still think Trinity would hold the edge.
As do I.
I think one of the things for Trinity, Bella Dupes is back this week.
Yes.
Oh, is she? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that. I know
that's maybe that's information that I shouldn't have gave.
No, Bob, because you know what? Because I reported earlier that she was hoping to be back,
right,
in early, at the end of the first week in January.
Yeah,
the tournament they were in, and that was the goal. That was the goal, just to get her back.
I think she might be getting some time tonight against. I think they're playing Camp Hill.
Yes.
And then, to try and get her feet wet a little bit before Thursday night, because Trinity is a good starting 5. Their bench, not real deep, with players. And so having her back is huge for them.
Yeah, to have Dupes, Berkheimer, and Kostelak Lauer all in the starting, that's a really good start there. First 3 for sure. Yeah. And that's with respect to the other players, but I just know Dupes has been, she's, what is she, a junior? Is she a junior this year?
Yeah.
I think she is. But it just seems like she's been starting here for, a couple of years. So anyway, let's wish them both well. That's a game to be at. If anybody out there likes girls basketball, or even if you don't, go to Susquehanna Township Thursday night. Yeah, it's a great game. And then we will move on to the Mid-Penn Colonial Division, and Eric, you were at the game. Middletown, Northern York. Bob, you were at the game. I don't think it was close, right?
No.
Okay. Is that kind of like Northern York's still for the division, and they still have to play, but it kind of looks like it's definitely Middletown's to lose at this point, right?
It is.
Northern York would have to show up. And what I say about the game of basketball is, if you show up and just shoot lights out for 32 minutes, it's hard to beat a team like that. So I think that's the only way that Northern York would probably have a chance. Anybody else want to any input on that situation?
It's just a thing too, you need obviously defense. You have to play very good defense, obviously, to advance in this, in this scenario. But when a team goes out and averages 56, 58, 60 points a game, like Middletown does, you expend so much energy trying to sort of slow them down that actually hurts you offensively.
Right.
I think that's what happened against Northern. Yeah. Like Northern got a little bit bent early, and you've got a career score, possibly a 2,000-point score by the end of the season, maybe in Jayla Kozer, who's putting in 20 a game. You've got a really good all-purpose player in Emma Cleland, who does just about anything.
Oh, I love her. I think she's so good.
Incredible player. The size of Destiny Gassert inside doesn't give you a ton of points, but gives you 8-10 rebounds a game, and it's sort of hard to move.
No, she'll tire your bigs out for sure. She'll tire your bigs out.
And then you've got a series of guards: Journey Stover, Jalea Stover, Asia Rossum comes in, and these are like just troublemakers.
Yes,
and they both can score. Both Stovers can score. Rossum has 40 some steals on the season, so it's sticky on defense to try to maneuver against these girls. So all those parts, you've got to kind of wall off one or two of them, and it just zaps you.
It takes a lot out of you. Yeah,
right. And I think for a team like Northern, it's really important for Northern to find that pace that they like to play at, and once you get away from that, it's hard to get it back. Yeah, especially against a team that is so up tempo and quote unquote reckless, like Middletown. Because I've seen it for years now, especially with Kozer on the court, and it's they will do this until they will, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Mm-hmm.
They could be up 4 points with 20 seconds to go, and they're still pushing the basketball.
Right. That's scary.
It is, and it's a reckless scenario, but that's what they do.
Right.
And it just that would drive me crazy as a head coach. But for Coach Dixon, she's like, hey, we got here because of this.
Yeah.
If you somehow shut down Kosher, Cleveland will step up.
Yeah.
She had 20 points against York Suburban in last year's district championship game. Mm-hmm. Okay, they lost the game, but the point is they have a second player that's, if things kind of get out of sorts for Kosher. I think Cleveland played well against Altoona in last year's Mid-Penn game. Altoona held Kosher to 9, and then Cleveland, picked up the slack. So, Eric, I'm just supporting what you're saying. They don't, and even Gassert down low. She's not just a big body; she can play basketball too.
Yes, exactly.
She's tough to deal with. And
it's not, and it's not that she has pretty good feet.
Yeah,
it's not like she fouls. She has a ton. It's just a lot to maneuver around.
Yeah, it really is.
And she gets keyboards, so that's what you want her to do.
So I kept mentioning this. This is the matchups. Look at the top column, folks. This year, this is the Mid-Penn tournament, boys and girls basketball. So what we'd be looking at is Colonial versus Commonwealth, which we're going to say in all likelihood will be Middletown, with respect to Bob and his daughter and her polar bear. No, but I do. I would say that. I would say that if you weren't on the show, because
absolutely.
I try to be as respectful as I can, but we're looking at probably Central Dauphin or Altoona versus Northern York in the opening round.
No,
and then Central Dauphin versus Middletown. I'm sorry. And then the Capital Division. More than likely Trinity, I think. And I think if there's Susquehanna Township people listening or watching, they're not going to know what I'm getting at. But we just broke it all down that something's going to happen to kind of upset the apple cart for Trinity versus either Cedar Cliff or Middletown or Mechanicsburg. So, all right. Yeah,
we haven't even really talked about Mechanicsburg, who was really kind of the preseason team to beat.
We're going to talk about them now. This is the portion of the show where I'm going to tick some people off. Now, let me say this. Bob did not contribute to this, nor did Eric Epler. Okay. I was just doing this over the weekend for something to do, because this is what I do. I think it's pretty accurate, but let's just kind of take a look at this and kind of pick at it a little bit. It would be Altoona Central Dauphin if Altoona had beaten them last week. Okay. Just so it's hard to shy away from picking the top Commonwealth Division team, unless a few years ago Cedar Cliff, they were playing out of the Keystone with that team they had. But and then I have State College third. And a lot of this is eye test. It's half resume, half eye test. Anybody disagree with any of the top three? So I have State College a little high.
Bob, do you want to go?
I have not seen State College play, so Eric has seen all three. I've seen CD play multiple times, and they, if they beat Altoona, up there, that's a good win.
It's a good win.
I'll have more to say when we get down the list here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. I have Cedar Cliff at 4 because they beat Mechanicsburg. And Cedar Cliff or Cumberland Valley could be interchangeable. I just think Cedar Cliff's a little bit better team right now. Cumberland County was reeling. They lost 5 of 7. Cumberland Valley lost 5 of 7 before beating Springford over the weekend. And that's a really nice win. So I'm comfortable with Cumberland Valley where they are. I think Mechanicsburg 6 is pretty low, but they came out of the gate. They struggled out of the gate. They weren't the Mechanicsburg team that we thought they were going to be, with a lot of returning. Who did they not return, Eric or Bob, whoever knows that?
For what team?
Mechanicsburg from last year.
They have everybody.
Pratt? Was it Pratt?
No, Pratt's still there.
She's a junior.
Okay, yeah. That's right. And
no, They have everybody back from a 24-3 team.
So, and that team almost knocked Central Dauphin off last year. It was close. I mean, Central Dauphin ended up beating them by 7, but I think Mechanicsburg was up like 14 or 15 in the first half. So, expect Clay McAllister and his girls to bring things, to have things reeled in here by the time it counts. Middletown, I mean, I don't know if they're ready to be better than some of those higher classification teams, some of those Commonwealth teams. There's where Bob disagrees.
No, I think Middletown can beat Cedar Cliff.
Okay. Yeah, I think they could too. I think they could too.
And I think you have, I mean, no offense to Cumberland Valley. I've seen them play, and I think you have them too high. I think they're down closer to Trinity than they are to Cedar Cliff up there. I think Cedar Cliff and Mechanicsburg is going to be an awesome game next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw Mechanicsburg play Saturday. I was telling Joe this earlier. And they look significantly better than they did early in the season. They just they look like they have it. They're putting it together. And I'll be anxious to see how them and Cedar Cliff, bang out here. But I think Middletown beats Cumberland Valley head to head too.
I bounced this off of one of my coach friends. Okay. I will not mention his name. And he said, CV might be a little high. Okay. Yeah. And I have a lot of coach friends, just so you know. And I was going to drop them. Okay. And then they beat Springford. And Springford's Eric, is Springford kind of top 10-ish in the state this year? They beat Altoona.
I'd say they're close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close. Yeah. It's a solid, it's a great solid win. I mean,
that's a really good win.
It's a good win.
That's there. I don't know if Middletown beats Springford. I mean, I really don't. Now we're talking about who would beat who. Right. You can kind of degrees of separation. Sure. And that's not always the best way, but that's sometimes the only way, Right. And like I said, I kept Cumberland Valley where they were just based on that win. And then I have Trinity ahead of Susquehanna Township because they beat them. I think the Susquehanna Township people aren't going to like being 9, but who would we put them above there? I don't know. And then Northern, I looked to see if there was any like kind of honorable mentions or who would be like 11 or 12. And I didn't see anybody that I thought is a better team than Northern York. So I feel good about having them there. But I don't disagree with you, Bob, about.
Yeah, I'll be anxious. I'll be anxious to see in 2 weeks what your top 10 is. You'll have to text it to me.
I will text it to you. I might even make it public. I'm willing to take the crap from people.
All right.
I know this is. I don't think a lot of people watch this show, but I'm going to hear stuff about this for sure. I mean, some of them.
I do this. I do this. Dandy doesn't pool during the football season, and it's basically and the reason we call it top trending teams is it allows you to get some of the lower classification teams a little bit higher in such a ranking.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We would never, a Line Mountain would never, a Line Mountain, which is a single A school.
Right.
It would never in a poll like this be ahead of a Harrisburg or be ahead of a, Bishop McDevitt.
They wouldn't even beat a Cumberland Valley if Cumberland Valley's 4 and 4.
It just wouldn't be. It's different hemispheres.
Right.
And I think everybody understands that.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is, you've got some predominantly some strong teams here that are either 6A or 5A inside of those rankings.
That's why it's hard to let the other ones in.
Right. And even a team like Susquehanna Township or Trinity being 4A and 3A, it's a tough delivery to kind of move those teams up.
Right.
But I do agree with Bob. I think Middletown could probably be a touch higher.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cumberland Valley could be a touch lower.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Trinity, Susquehanna Township are just sort of stuck right now, behind those, but who knows? I mean, Trinity could be as high as 4 on this list.
Eric, it pained me to have Trinity and Susquehanna Township that low. It pained me to do that. Okay.
And after seeing State College against Central Dauphin, I may have State College lower than this.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing I said to you. Do I have State College too high?
So it's just a question of, it's great banter. It's great to kind of look at things and how they move.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they bitch about my state rankings, I'm like, listen, rankings are made to move.
Right.
When we'll figure it all out December 8th at Cumberland Valley Field.
Right.
And I'll either be right or I'll be wrong. So we'll figure it out then.
It'll be a good mid-pen tournament this year for sure.
It should be fun. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Let's talk about a couple of some of the players, more than a couple that we really like so far. And I don't think we're not ranking them. We're not saying first team, second, none of that stuff. But Commonwealth, I really like. Mamadou, I think that was your preseason player of the year, right? Pick, Eric.
Yeah. What we do and I don't know if a lot of people know this, Joe, so I'll just explain it real quick. What we do for preseason is, we don't pick the players of the preseason player of the year, or we don't predict order of finish, even though we will do that after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches send in questionnaires to us,
right?
And we ask them to rank the teams 1 through 8 in their division. It's all anonymous. No, we don't name any coaches who voted for this and that. And we also ask them to vote for the preseason player of the year. Now, with only 8 coaches, most of these preseason picks are razor thin. They're one vote or 2 votes.
Right.
But Marmaduke was what came out as the preseason player of the year.
Right.
For the Commonwealth, which, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this because she's a tremendous player, but it was a little bit surprising when you consider some of the returning players that are coming back.
Yeah.
So I have for Central Dauphin, Livia Green and Kiana Taylor. Kiana Taylor really improved since last year. I mean, she was a really good freshman. I don't think I'm going there and saying she wasn't, but I think she kind of really came into her own. She starts making threes now. She starts handling the ball, running the floor a lot better. She has more confidence.
Yeah.
So, I think when all's said and done, she may end up being maybe like first team Commonwealth. I don't know. It's kind of looking that way.
Yeah.
Peyton Bayshore from Cumberland Valley, Olivia Hudson, Zaylin Wynn-Moore, and Raylan Iyer, all from Altoona. That's a big 3 right there. Shanna Wilson from State College, and how about Isla Heckman for Carlisle? I wanted to throw another player out other than these just kind of these front runner teams.
Isla's great.
Yep.
Is that her name? Isla?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She is a force inside. I'm surprised kind of that Carlisle isn't a little bit closer to some of these teams. Because they have a couple big girls inside that should be stacking up points against some of these teams, and Isla's doing that.
Isla, okay. Yeah, my apologies. I said Isla because it kind of looks that way. But all right, so let's move down to the Keystone, and lots of Mechanicsburg players again. We have let's start with Karcher from Cedar Cliff. She's not a Mechanicsburg player, but I think she's kind of like the glue of that team. She's been around for a long time. She was playing as a freshman when they still had that 30-1 or 32-1 team, Livia Green, and lost in the state championship game. And she was getting minutes back then, if I'm recalling correctly. But if we move over to Mechanicsburg, Elena Sweet, Lauren Lebo, and Macy Yanoski. So that's a big 3 right there. And then you have, was it Asha Pratt?
Yeah, Asha Pratt. All 4 of those girls, and even Mia Masser, like those 5 are solid players. No matter where you take them.
Yeah, when all's said and done, they might end up beating anybody. They could beat Central Dauphin or Altoona. I really think that.
I think if you're looking at too, and if you ask Coach McAllister and you actually ask the players, they're disappointed. 9-4 right now. That's not up to their standards.
No,
right.
That's not where they want to be. Obviously, a game back in the division, not where they want to be.
Right.
But again, some of that falls upon that. Lauren Lebo is really the only size they have. They are guard. I mean, they are hugely guard heavy, and all their guards are good, can shoot. They're all consistent. Any one of them between Pratt and Masser, the Condon girl, and you've got Elena Sweet,
Yanoski,
Macy, Yanoski.
Yeah.
Who Yanoski to me is the glue. She makes it all sort of happen. She's tremendously tremendous defender,
Mm-hmm.
As well as just kind of the gritty kind of court leader that they need. But I don't think they put it all together yet. I'm waiting for that sort of thing, and I think Coach McAllister's waiting for the same thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned Kircher. Kircher's the glue for Cedar Cliff. I mean, she's been that way since her freshman year. Nothing flashy about her. She just goes out, ties the shoelaces, and goes to work. You know, I mean, if coaches had 5 of Karcher, they went. No one would beat them.
Especially a coach like Scott Wyatt. He loves that type of player.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're playing. You're playing a possession game. You know,
right.
And she just does a little of everything for him. 10.5 or 11 points, 10 rebounds a game. I mean, if you have somebody out there averaging a double-double, I mean, look how valuable Olivia Green's been to Central Dolphin.
Right.
Averaging a double-double. Now you've got some other potential players at CD that could be in that realm. Maybe not this year like Michaela, but just seems, a double-double in girls basketball, you're going to win a hell of a lot of football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then some other names for the Keystone. You guys mentioned some of a couple other Cedar Cliff players. Can you throw that back out there again? Sorry.
Paige Weiner.
Yeah, Weiner. Yeah, that's right.
Paige Weiner, Reese Hall. They're all solid players. They're great.
Right. And then Lauren, it's Lebo, right? I said
Lebo. Yeah.
It's also the goalkeeper. I like those multi-sport athletes. She plays goalkeeper at a high level. Okay.
She's gone Division I for soccer.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. Then some other names to throw out there is Salas from Palmyra, Walker Smith and Freeman from Milton Hershey, Carnegie from Mifflin County, Ebert from Hershey. So and a lot of that is based on scoring and statistics. I haven't been out to see those players play yet. Am I missing anybody here, guys?
No, but I will say this about Jada Carnegie and Mackenzie Peachy from Mifflin County. These two players they played a lot of basketball for that squad, and they really are the big reasons why they're hang around every year. You know what I mean? In that division, and they spring a couple upsets. I know right now they're about 7-5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But again, they whisk off to District 6 too, and then wind up, going up against State College or out there. So I would not count them out. It would not surprise me to see them back in the state playoffs because of those two players. I mean, there's other players. Don't get me wrong, but those two have been really just tremendous sort of kind of ambassadors for Mifflin County for the last years, and they're really good basketball players. So I wanted to mention those two for sure.
7-5 they are, Eric. Very good. Well done.
All right. Okay.
yeah, you nailed it.
Well, I was doing standings the other
It's something how that if you look at it one time, sometimes it just kind of sticks in your brain.
Kind of gets in your head.
Right. So let's move on to the Capital Division. There we have like a big 3, and I'm even gonna, not based on what happened to this point, but let's start with Trinity. I'm gonna just throw Dupes in there and just say, because she's one of the best players in the Capital, and out of respect for her and her game, and that she couldn't help that she was injured. Bella Dupes, Emma Kostelak-Lauer, another multi-sport athlete, Ashley Berkheimer, and there's 3, and then let's move over to Susquehanna Township, London, Martin, and Archer. That's their big 3. And then we have Stoner from James Buchanan, Green from James Buchanan, and Mandel from Boiling Springs. Yeah. Am I missing anybody? I mean, I'm sure there's so many more good players.
Big Spring pushed Trinity the other night, right to the end. So they've been improving, and they have probably them in Gettysburg in the Colonial probably have the best crew of freshman players. Big Spring has this Cade Burns. She's a 6-foot freshman. She's just starting, I think, to get a feel for what she can do. And, she's going to, I'm sure the people in that division, they're losing James Buchanan, so they're not going to see Kendall Stoner. They're not going to see all the Big Spring girls back. and then
losing James Buchanan to the York Adams League. Just to be clear,
James Buchanan, Big Spring, and then Susquehanna Township is moving up to the Colonial. So it's going to be Trinity and
until McDevitt kind of pulls themselves out of wherever, whatever they're, wherever they are. Yeah.
But it's like Trinity and just Trinity.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree.
Next year.
All right. So Colonial, and Eric, before you came on, before you entered the green room, I admitted to Bob, I kind of have like a little bit of a disconnect with the Colonial because it's kind of far from where I live. I don't get a chance to see those teams all that much. I do know one thing. Middletown has, I think, a big three again: Kosher, Cleland, and Gassert. Mackenzie Bonner, of course, for Northern York. She's a sophomore. Boy, she makes her free throws, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I was doing a little bit of research. Yeah, she's well over 80% for the line.
Yeah, she does. Ani Miladinov, she's a sharpshooter. I would say Azula Navarro from Ship.
Yeah.
She is tough. She's a baller. There's a girl from Waynesboro, I think, Pearson Moore, I think. She's good. But I think Cleland and Kozer are, they're the top of the line, for that division. And
Cleland is about as much of a, you hear point guards referred to as quarterback. She's a quarterback, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's who you want kind of man in your ship.
She's so smart on the court.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So, okay. So we just discussed, that's a lot of really good players there. And thank you guys for filling in the blanks because I don't know all those divisions all that well. But I think we can kind of move on to districts here. And we're not going to spend too much time. We're going to spend very little time here because this isn't really any of there's no mid-pen schools that compete in 1A. Harrisburg Academy is a local school, but we don't really Lingelstown Gazette. I'm saying by we don't really cover them. So, and just to let everybody know, I'm going to put this up here. This is the number of teams in each classification that qualify for districts. So that's 1A, 2A. We have only, let's see, Camp Hill and Steelton High Spire. Steel High's out of it. They don't have a win. But Camp Hill, and there we have 4 teams qualify, and they're in a very healthy position there. So Camp Hill's gonna qualify there in 2A. 3A, Trinity kind of head and shoulders. Boy, it's going to be hard to beat them, isn't it? Eric, you know anything about Peckway Valley?
No, but I just, again, when you talk about the schedule and strength of schedule and stuff, which does matter. I mean, Peckway Valley, obviously at 12-1 is looking really good. But, when you look at strength of schedule, it's almost a full point, which is, a drastic thing. And I'm not saying you can't give Trinity problems, but, if I had to look, if I'm just looking at paper and I know Trinity pretty much what they offer, it's going to be tough for anybody, Peckway Valley included, to
absolutely.
Trinity will beat them by 20 in the district championship.
I kind of wonder, on the boys' side too, and I'm going to duck while I say this, why Trinity doesn't move up on their own to 4A. It just doesn't make. I know Bob's wincing. Like you're not supporting my question, right? I think just for competition's sake. For competition's sake.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I'm not the only one that wonders that.
No, I think there's a lot of people across the state that wonder why a lot of teams aren't moved up.
And then you have some schools, they'll just move up. Like, hey, move me up.
Yeah.
So how about 4A? Susquehanna Township, they're of course one of our teams there, and I watched the Lone Catholic play, guys, last weekend before I watched Red Lion kind of dismantle Central Dauphin. It was at the same showcase, and it looked pretty good. It wasn't one of the Lone Catholic's better teams, but they looked good enough to go deep or maybe win this tournament, the 4A tournament. I don't know much about Northern Lebanon or Eastern York. So, there's Susquehanna Township's opportunity.
There's all those are solid teams, Delone, Eastern, Northern Lebanon, but Susquehanna Township, I'm guessing by the end of this, they should be the number 1 seed. And I don't think any of those other teams can play with Susquehanna Township. I'll just be honest with you.
You heard it here first from Bob Bonner.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at 4A too, and typically we've seen this in the past, 4A tends to get, it has been blown up before by teams of those mid seeds. One of these teams, and I know we talked earlier about Big Spring pushing Trinity earlier, and we talked about James Buchanan. One of those two teams could sneak in an early win.
Absolutely.
And kind of detonate that bracket. I tell you what, I know we're losing James Buchanan, but Kendall Stoner is one of the most exciting players we have. Ainsley Green is also down there.
Yep.
And they've got 2 or 3 sophomores that are starters, Stoner being one of them.
Yep.
I think Olivia Doherty's a sophomore, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of a good all-around player.
Yeah.
So that could be a team to watch. Again, they're not in Trinity's. They're not going to chase.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Eric, because those two teams might be down around 6, 7, 8.
Yes.
And okay, I don't think either of them beat Susquehanna Township. If Susquehanna Township's 1 and one of those teams is 8, they're in trouble.
There you go.
But I can tell you that Big Spring and James Buchanan and even Kennerdale, and I know we're not talking about the York Ass, but one of those 3 teams, they could certainly beat Northern Lebanon or Eastern York or Delone.
Yeah.
Or Susquehanna, whoever's up in there. I just think that Susquehanna Township is kind of a little bit above all these teams here.
See, my point, I'm not afraid to make the comments that I made. I think Trinity could more than compete. I think Trinity could end up winning this, and this is 4A, so that's why I said that. I don't want to put Trinity, and I'm not putting them anywhere. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Right.
I'm not trying to put them into a scenario where they can't win, but I think they could compete at one classification higher on a regular basis, year in and year out, most years. Okay, so let's look at here we got 5A, and look at that, Middletown, Northern York, 2 and 3.
I can tell you that this, because I follow this the most, obviously, right? Because this is what we look at every single day at our house. But York Suburban and Middletown, easily the top 2 teams. I think the next 5, 6 teams are probably all in the same boat. And then maybe the 5 teams after that are probably in the same boat together.
Right.
I can tell you from watching all these teams and even the ones that are not in mid-pen, there's a couple teams on here that I'm not saying we as a team, I'm saying if I was the coach, I wouldn't want to play in the first round of districts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And West York is one of them. Milton Hershey scares me because they're so big. Although they're not deep.
Tina's a good coach too. Tina Thomas,
yeah, she's a great coach.
She could put together a game plan.
Yeah, there's a couple teams I don't want to play Manheim Central. You know what I mean? In the first round, you get some of these teams. If you make it to the second round, you're like, okay, we're playing with the house's money. But there's some good teams down in the 10 to 14 range there.
That would be a rematch, by the way. I think I mentioned it earlier for the district title game. York Suburban and Middletown. I was at that game last year, and York Suburban's really good. You saw him play Central Dolphin now, and I try not to go there or go here or whatever with injuries and missing player. Sam Sembrot was out of that game.
Right. That's
correct. Me, man, she's just. What is she, Eric? She adds something. She's not Kayana Taylor and she's not Olivia Green.
She's a grinder.
She does everything well.
It's whatever you need. That's
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about Sam Sembrot's game is she doesn't care what you need.
Right.
No,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? She's not doesn't come to court and say, "Oh, I need to score 12 points today."
Right.
Points don't matter. Rebound, whatever they need, she gives them. And then when you least expect it, she'll hit a 12-foot jump shot along the baseline. You're like, whoa.
She hit that 3 the other night. I don't know if you were there yet. It was early in the game. She hit a 3. It's when they needed it. I mean, they weren't winning by 20 at that point.
10 points, couple rebounds, couple assists. It's
right. And she runs the court well too. She has good ball skills.
When you know what you're going to get out of the players you send out there, I mean, as a coach, how sort of stress-free is that?
Right.
Like when you know exactly what you're going to get. Like, Randy knows exactly what he's going to get Olivia Green every time out.
Right.
A lot of coaches don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a huge bonus. A huge bonance.
She's the type of player, Joe, that like when we watch games, I tell McKenna that's what you have to do. Whatever Sam does, she contributes no matter what
I like her game a lot.
Yeah. She's great.
So while we're on it, let me just mention this because I'm an Olivia Green fan. She just eclipsed at that game that you were at, Bob, the York Suburban game. She eclipsed 1,000 rebounds for her career. She's at 1031 and she's 123 points away. I think if things work out as they may with the postseason, she should be able to, if she averages 10 points a game.
She should get that.
She could. Yeah, she could. I don't want to put too much pressure on her. She doesn't feel any pressure.
I think I was actually talking to the York Suburban's coach's husband. I was sitting next to him at the CD Suburban game.
Weaver. Well, his name's not Weaver. I think isn't her maiden name Weaver? Right.
It is. Yeah. It is. And we were talking, and when she got the 1,000th rebound, we were like, that's more impressive than scoring 1,000 points by far.
You have to play 25 games a year for 4 years and have 10 rebounds a game. That's not easy to do.
You have to average double digits.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
To have 1,000 rebounds. That's just top notch.
It's really, really good. So all right, so let's do this. Let's move on to 6A. And there we have 16 teams make it in 6A. It was 14, by the way, in 5A.
Right.
Guys, man, Red Lion, I think is just, there is no 1A right now. Eric, you or Bob, you didn't see that Red Lion CD game, did you?
I did not see that one, no.
I get in trouble because I went to Central Dauphin and I'm their public address announcer for girls basketball. I get in trouble for being a homer and for the opposite, okay? I really do. The CD people are going to give me crap sometimes, but Red Lion was just kind of head and shoulders that night.
They're tough.
Really Central Dauphin, they were down as much as like mid-teens, and they cut it to like, I think 9 or 11, but they never were in that game. Were in that game. Red Lion is just the typical kind of cookie cutter 5'8" through 5'10". They all pass well, they all shoot well, they box out, they protect the ball, just everything like a coach's dream. That's the way Red Lion plays.
They are such good passers. Like
they
move the ball like it's a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wish you had a team that could move the ball like that. Those two teams are, Dallastown's surprising because I think they lost some girls last year. And for them to reload that quickly with that good of a record, like we saw them in the summer league.
New coach.
Yeah, we saw them in the summer league, and I'll be honest, I thought, man, they're going to drop off, and they didn't.
No.
And that's surprising,
Yeah. So, and then you go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say what's interesting to me, and I'd probably look at the power ratings more than any human should, because they're just dizzying at times. If you put that graphic back up and you see and look down the OWP rankings, what do you see in 6A?
I see Red Lion.
I see every top OWP, which is your opponent's weighted win percentage, are York County teams.
I've noticed that. Yes.
are York County teams.
Why is that?
That right now has never happened midseason. That has never been the case in midseason. Well, that tells me two things. One, obviously, your Section 1 is really good, or whatever they call it down on Division 1, Section 1, whatever you call them. Number two is they're playing better teams in tournaments, tip-off tournaments, holiday tournaments. They're playing better teams overall.
Right.
Now, some of those teams, if they're out of state, obviously don't count toward the PR rate, but most of them you're playing in-state teams. So that right there is telling me these teams are good, number one, but they're also playing against great competition in their division.
Right.
So that makes them twice as tough.
Yes. We're talking Red Lion, Dallastown, Central York. That's three off the top. William Penn, I think.
Southwestern.
Yeah.
Some of these numbers will change. Obviously, you've got another 10 to 12 games before these things are finalized. Maybe more in a couple situations, but so some of these numbers will change, and some of these mid-pen teams could go up a little bit more. CD's going to get elevated a little bit more coming down the home stretch. Cedar Cliff as well, but all these teams in York are going to be tough outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Tough. So we know what Dallastown, obviously the sort of the max program and what they did last year, and you mentioned the precision of Red Line. They don't hurt themselves. They're not out there scoring 60 points a game,
right?
But they are basically dictating everything through 94 feet. So
they scored 48 against CD and kind of blew them out. Okay, so they blew them out with 48. So
that's pretty impressive. Because CD's traditionally a team that scores around 50, 52, 54.
This year they're scoring. They're scoring more than they normally do. Yeah.
So so that's pretty impressive right now through whatever 12 games, 13 games. That's pretty impressive what York Adams is doing at 6.
Yeah.
All right. So
I have a question. Eric, do you think Cumberland Valley makes the playoffs?
Let's put that.
Do I think Cumberland Valley makes the 6A playoffs? Well, what do we take? 14 or 16? Do we take 16?
They take 16.
They take 16.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, Parkland's going to be an issue.
Yep, they are going to be an issue.
And they still have State College. They still have CD East.
They still have Altoona again.
Yeah. They still have the
Central Dauphin.
Yeah, they still have. No, they don't have CD left, do they? Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have a lot of.
Well, we know.
I ask you because I was looking at it, and like I look at these, maybe almost as much as you, because. It's I was looking at their schedule and I'm like, man, like maybe 16, but maybe they knock somebody off too.
Well, you also have to look
one of those games, then they get in.
You also have to look at 17 through 20 is just as important of how Cumberland Valley handles the business during the stretch.
Well, let's look at this one more time, guys.
I mean, it could very easily, to be honest with you, Bob, it could very easily come down to what CD East does.
Central Dauphin East is 0.06 behind, 0.07 behind Cumberland Valley right now.
Right. Well, I think
and they play the same teams as Cumberland Valley does.
Valley playing at the end of the season. I think that might be their last game.
It is their last game.
Yeah, well, that could be.
It could be the winner gets in from that game.
Yeah, because you figure too. I mean, I don't see Reading making much of a run. I don't see Lebanon, particularly how good. How now I will say this in the Lancaster Lebanon League, pretty much in all the divisions, it's been there's a lot of parity there.
Right.
So anything can happen in the LL. Sure. Nobody has really separated themselves. Right. I mean, we didn't talk about Lamprey to Stroudsburg at 5A. I think they might be the most dangerous, simply because I don't think they have a senior on their not on their squad, but in their starting lineup.
Right.
So, and they've got 5 girls, all juniors or below, who are right around that 8-9 points a game.
Right. Very balanced.
When anybody can go off and it's a new sort of squad, that could go. So I think they could be dangerous 5A.
Yes.
But 6A, no one's really separated themselves when you talk about LL.
Here's my answer. Will Cumberland Valley? Will Cumberland Valley make the postseason?
It's going to be. I mean, it's definitely not guaranteed.
No, it's not. No.
I think they're going to have to do a little bit better. I mean, I know they're 8-5 right now,
Right.
which is great, but I would think they're still going to have to get to that at least 11 wins, 12 wins.
I
Yeah.
think 12.
to-
Yeah.
to-
They can't get knocked off. Okay, let's say that.
Yeah.
They clearly can't get knocked off by a Carlisle, a Harrisburg, an East High, Central Dauphin East High.
yeah.
Well, East did East beat them the first time?
East beat them the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if East beats them
They blew
again,
them out. They beat them by 15.
yeah, if East beats them again, that could put them out. That's the last game, and
Yeah.
it could be
They may have
16-17 at the last game.
They may have to spring an upset against a State College or an Altoona. I don't think they're in the same stratosphere as Central Dauphin.
They've not been in the same stratosphere as Central Dauphin and beating them over the last
But
handful
just,
of
you
years.
know, again, you'd have to, I know I say anybody can beat anybody, and that's true to a certain degree, but
To a certain degree.
so Central Dauphin just has so many angles to win a basketball game
Right.
against a team made up like Cumberland Valley.
Yeah.
It would have to take some sort of Herculean effort to
Right.
do it. Not that
Yeah.
they can't,
Right.
but they'd have to play there perfect.
Yeah.
So
But State College,
it's gonna be close.
they could beat a State College. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. A lot can happen.
Sure.
Players get injured.
Injuries.
I was looking at, and I don't know this for a fact, but I was looking at Palmyra's. I was thinking Palmyra's. To me, I think would be a little bit frustrating the first half of the season for them. But I also saw that Addie Salas only had 5 games played.
right.
So I don't know if she's hurt. I don't know if she's just,
Right.
So, and maybe that's a typo. Maybe she has
If
been.
you don't know the whole story, then you don't have the whole story.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
And then, so that's, they got to have, you've got to have Salas and Maya Doster on the field, on the court
Correct.
to win games consistently.
Right.
So, so certain things can happen, but yeah, it's definitely not. Cumberland Valley is going to have to do some work to
Yeah.
make sure they're in. For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm sure they know that too. All right, let's kind of wind down with this here. This is Trib, which is a Western PA media outlet, and this was their last week. I think this week's comes out today or let's see here. What's the date today? This came out on the 6th, so we're almost a week removed from this. This is just for something to talk about here. Red Lion. I mean, they came from not ranked up to 5th. I think O'Hara and Carroll are going to be really tough again. I mean, they're just kind of, neither of them were 6A a few years ago. Now they're both 6A. They've both won state championships recently, and they're not going anywhere, are they? How about Upper Dublin though too?
No, I think Downingtown West too has just been. They're going to be really, really hard to beat. Like we talked about Perk last couple of years.
Right.
They're very similar to what those teams are like, but O'Hara and Carroll are definitely going to be there.
Upper Dublin wins games by 50, like a lot of games by 50.
I don't have any problem with this 5.
No, it's a good 5.
I would think. Yeah, and Red Line deserves it right now. Red Line deserves to be if they're going to pull one team out of our neck of the woods.
That's it.
It
That's the
should
one.
be Red Line. Yeah,
Absolutely. So 5A South Fayette, they're perennial. No reason not to have them up there. I'm not familiar with Mount St. Joseph. Where are they coming out of or from?
that's Whippeal.
They're tough
Yeah.
down
Okay.
there.
All right. Crestwood, Cathedral Prep, Archbishop Wood. Wood's always good. They're 3-5. I'm sure they probably played a brutal schedule to this point. And I don't have a problem with ranking a team high when they have, the kind of an awkward record, like St. Joe's Prep this past year in football. Every time I had anything to do with the ratings or rankings, I always kept St. Joe's Prep kind of close to the top. 4A Lansdale Catholic, I heard they're very good. Auden Reed Charter, who beat Susquehanna Township. I heard Susquehanna Township was in that game for a while though, so they're ranked number 2. Black Hawk, are they the defending state champs, guys, or is that a couple years
I
ago?
don't know.
They had that.
I'm not sure who won.
They had that really good, one of those
Yeah.
really good players. Central Columbia, Newman Gretty's always good. Now we have Trinity ranked 1st in 3A. They're going to be there,
Yeah, they're gonna
It's-
be somewhere close.
It's interesting. I would have Imhotep a little bit higher, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
So,
And Dunmore's always good.
Yes.
Berlin Brothers Valley, and we're going to 2A. Kennedy Catholic. Kennedy Catholic they're good. They're really good. I think they're going to be there at the end.
I think one of our teams plays Berlin Brothers Valley, like Trinity or
I think it's Trinity.
Yeah, that should be a good game.
Trinity girls basketball. Let's see here.
Is it at home? Is it at Trinity or is it? That might be a good one.
It's not Trinity. Maybe it's McDevitt. Yeah, it's not Trinity.
Try Susquehanna Township, maybe.
That would be a weird schedule for them.
Yeah, I get. I thought I saw one of the local teams playing Berlin Brothers Valley somewhere.
I'm trying to look. Oh, it's no, is it Hannah?
No.
Yeah, it is.
I don't see it.
I was looking at some schedules and
it's Hannah. They play Berlin on Saturday.
Where at?
Let's see. I think it's at home. I think it's at Hannah.
Because that might be a great game to go watch.
You better believe it. I'll meet you there.
It's listed as, I don't know. It's listed as N neutral.
It's not on Max Prep, so yeah. It's probably. What are you looking at? D3.
Is it corny?
Huh. Okay. That's a.
I'll find out. I'll let you guys know. But
you know what it is? It's the Hoops for Harmony thing in York.
Oh,
that's where it is.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
That's not that far away.
No.
Yeah, they're playing at I think York Tech.
Votech. That's sunken gymnasium. That's a great place to watch a basketball game.
There's three different gyms that they're playing down there. One is William Penn, one is York Tech, and I think they're playing some at York College as well.
And remember, I saw you last year that game that Dallastown took at the CD. They have two gyms at York Tech. Remember, they were playing in the smaller gym or the older gym.
I think Susquehanna Township's involved in that. I think Trinity Girls is also involved in that one day. I think that may be it for mid-Penn teams.
That might be that charter in 2A.
Charter.
Yeah, I think maybe Trinity's playing them.
That's possible. That could be possible. Yeah, that could be possible.
Yeah, that would be some good games to watch.
Yeah, I don't have the Hoops for Harmony schedule up. I should have it. It's probably somewhere in my computer, but I think both those teams are involved. Yeah,
that would be great.
Monday there is a let's say, I guess they call them showcases, an MLK Classic. I guess it's Martin Luther King Day on Monday. This would have been probably a much sexier matchup a few years ago, but Central Dolphins playing McDevitt girls. And then Central Dolphin boys are playing Central York. Central York will be without Brooklyn Nace. Brooklyn Nace is heading off to Old Dominion to play to get ready for football, his freshman year of football. He's playing his last game against York William Penn on Wednesday, and then he's gone. So I mean, there's just something that if you're off work and something to do, there's a girls' game, a boys' game, and it's free if you bring some canned goods. Free admission with canned goods. So
there you go.
Yeah, something to do on a maybe a non-work day for the holiday. All right, so let's just throw this back up. 1A again. We don't have any 1A teams, and that doesn't mean we don't want to recognize them. But so that's it, guys. I think we went a little over an hour. I try to keep them to an hour. We got a lot accomplished there, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. I love girls basketball. Those who know me know I do.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do this every week. And Eric has a real job. And Bob, you have a daughter that plays that you're following around. So maybe we could do it one more time at the end of the year, kind of a wrap-up show right before the postseason. And
that'll be great.
So I want to thank once again our Legalstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion, Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Tonino's Pizza, and Sam Hartley Decking. Thanks again to these great local businesses for their continued support of Legalstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. Thanks to Bob Bonner, Eric Epler from PennLive Patriot News. We really appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Correct.
What's that? Yeah. That's it. Yeah, go get your PSAs done, men. If you're 45, 50 years old and you've never had your prostate checked, please do. All right, have a great evening, guys.